would you do if the leader of your country suddenly kicked you out? What if you and your family were now declared the wrong ethnicity and told you you could no longer live in the land of your birth? This is the sad reality for hundreds of thousands of ethnic Nepalis formerly living in the mountainous Asian nation of Bhutan. With us today are Minnie Morey and Krishna Bista. They will share with us their efforts to make a difference in the lives of such globally displaced people. Minnie, Krishna, welcome to Feel Like You Belong.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So before we talk about this amazing, powerful local program that you're spearheading, I want to get just a brief snapshot of your own personal immigration story. So Minnie, can I start with you?
Oh, sure. I was born in Manila, Philippines, and came to live in America or United States. I grew up in California since I was age 5 and going to public schools there. And just learned a lot of my English through public education.
Okay. And how did your family happen to come to the U.S.?
Oh, I was fortunate that my father, who was Philippine Scouts for the U.S. Army in World War II, and took the opportunity that was offered to the Philippine Scouts who survived the World War II to join the regular U.S. Army. So my father took that and accepted that and came to the United States and sent for us. So luckily, by the time I came to the United States, he was a U.S. citizen.
Sure.
So I automatically became a U.S. citizen.
And that's been a path for lots of people in the past, helping serve in the U.S. military and then gaining access to citizenship. Yeah. Awesome, thank you. So Krishna, tell us about your immigration story.
I was born in Bhutan in 1985 and became a refugee in 1991 and came to the refugee camp in 1991. For 18 years I became a refugee. So
so for our listeners, for our viewers, I just want you to repeat that number. You lived, so at a young age, you moved into a refugee camp and you were there for?
18 years.
18
years in the refugee camp. And I studied from elementary to high school in the refugee camp. And after that, I got a great opportunity to get education in India through scholarship. So I was in India in Darjeeling for 2 years and Sikkim for 2 years for my education. So in 2008, I was very lucky to get the opportunity to choose the country for the third country settlement because the government of Bhutan is not willing to take back to us. There was around 19 to 20 bilateral talk between Bhutan and Nepal for the refugee resettlement, but it never happened. So there was a third country settlement in 2007, so I was lucky in 2008 I got an opportunity to apply for it, and then we came in 2008 in December in Grand Rapids.
And so for our viewers not familiar with the history of Bhutan, over the last 100 years, thousands and thousands of Nepalis actually moved to Bhutan to be foreign workers there.
Yes,
settled there,
yeah.
Became citizens, and then all of a sudden they said, no, you no longer belong.
Yes, that is really, really true. I heard the story, it was around 200 to 250 years ago. The king of Bhutan and the king of Nepal at that time, they decided to give some people as a worker in Bhutan. So that is why our ancestor moved to Bhutan as an immigrant. But due to the political issue in 1991, so we were evicted. So we became a refugee in Nepal.
And the other confounding issue is that different culture, different language, and also between Bhutan and Nepal, different religions.
Right. Yes, that is really, really true. That is the reason why the political issues about religion and about our rights. So the people, Nepali people, fighting for their rights. Especially they don't want to wear the national dress. They want to wear their own dress. They want Nepali language to be in the school. So the government evicted that all things. So that is why we were also evicted in 1991.
So I could find, after the first, or 18 of the first dozen or so, 24 years of my life living in a refugee camp, I could find myself profoundly discouraged. How did your family keep hope, keep a sense of optimism? That has to be terribly difficult.
I think in our case, the Bhutanese refugee were the very peaceful refugees in the world, as I came to know through the UNO. So there was an education system back in the refugee camp. Healthcare was provided, and so that is why the children were able to get the education through the community teachers, through our own teachers from the refugee camp. So that is why we were not violent. We were very peaceful. So we are always thinking that we will go back to country. So our hope was go back to country, but it never happened. But in 2007, the leaders of Nepali, the Bhutanese leaders were thinking that we have to resettle in third countries. I don't think it will be possible. So the UNO and UNHCR think that it would be better to resettle in third countries. So many of our elderly parents were not happy with this solution. So that is why the young generation thought this will be a great opportunity. We are going to go for a better life, a land of opportunities. So it will be better for us. So that is why the educated people leave the camp, refugee camp, in the beginning. So later on in 2010, 2012, 2015, slowly the people who are not having much education think that, oh no, this is not the place where we have to stay. I think my children will get a better education if they move to US, or if they move to Canada, Australia, Netherlands, and there are different countries, for 7 countries resettlement.
So now we have thousands of Bhutanese refugees living in Michigan, a lot of them settling in West Michigan in the Grand Rapids area. But they come, Minnie, without a lot of training, without a lot of skills, and certainly they didn't need English back where they were. Now all of a sudden transplanted here they do. And tell us about the program. It's Connecting Communities program.
Yeah, well, the Connecting Communities is a program which is a partnership with another Asian organization, Asian Community Outreach, led by Crystal Bowie, and our organization, West Michigan Asian American Association, and a program which is funded by the Heart of West Michigan United Way and the Wege Foundation, and also an additional partnership with Calvin College to provide us with helping us with the curriculum. And this program started, or project started, with an idea to help those who have a little bit of English but want to improve their English proficiency so they could communicate better at a work environment with their coworkers, with their bosses, supervisors, even with customer service. Okay, so we call this program Vocational English as a Second Language, and with a focus mainly on helping them to improve their English so they can be more comfortable at work. But in the beginning, we found out that even though they do know a little bit of English, we did have to start with the basics of the alphabet and whatever. Krishna has been very helpful in encouraging a lot of their communities to come and take the classes. And I think he's been helpful of telling us what the community needs.
Sure, because every group has its own, their own preferences, their own cultural needs that we need to,
Right.
Because we can't shoehorn everybody into the same educational program. It won't fit, or they just won't accept the training.
Right. So, we're there to help them learn English, improve their English, but there are other needs, and we're trying to also, meet those needs, like pre-literacy class
Yeah.
for those who have never had any formal education
Sure.
or just don't know English. And I don't know how they function. For most of them, they've been here for several years. And so maybe they're sheltered and just stay at home.
Well, I'm sure you learned some adaptive skills, but at the same token, you don't venture out because people discover you don't read. Then you're not a full participant, but also probably get taken
Right.
advantage of.
Yeah. And just telling them about, or teaching them the classes, extra information about banking, just how to write a check, or what's the difference between a credit card and a debit card, or anything like that they're not familiar with. And we will also help them with other subjects that they would like to know more about, not just to learn English, but other social needs.
Sure. And fortunately, Krishna comes to Michigan with teacher training and a
Yes.
background for that and a love for that. So Krishna, talk a little bit about your classes.
This adult education we were running in refugee education refugee center right now. It is I think it is a very interesting for us to learn our own community in a better way, because we really need help for those adult people who want to get a citizenship and who want to learn and get a better job. So that is why when we start in the beginning, we face little difficulty because we have only few students are coming. We have American teachers, and it didn't work very well in the beginning. But I asked Minnie, I think we have to hire some teachers from our own community. So, and Minnie accept that idea, and I think that is a great idea, Krishna. Let us find it. So I found 2 teachers. So when they arrived to our adult education, so we have more and more students are coming. So we have around almost 60 of them are signed for the program.
Wow.
But 30, 35, 40 are coming every weekend. Saturday, Sunday class. They will be always there and always want to learn and eager and interest to learn.
Right.
So what is the feedback from your students?
They want the class Monday to Monday to Sunday, but which is not possible right now. So we said it is for only 1 hour class for only 1 day a week.
Oh my.
But later on, Minnie said people are interested. Let us do for 2 days 2 hours. So first day the teacher will teach the things whatever they have the planned, and the next day the tutor will help them to understand more about it in a group.
Sure.
And another interesting thing I found, when the students are coming, they are not able to write from the board. So I said, let us try this. Let us bring your own children from your home. Let us get your children who are in the high school and middle school. So we have around 7-8 students coming every day helping their own parents. So they are writing on the whiteboard, a small board we have. So they write, and then the parents will copy, and they interact with children, and they want to learn, and they want their parents to learn English. So which is really interesting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So-
I wanted to just state that what he was talking about, this program was basically starting with 1 hour class, and we have classes at the Refugee Center on weekends, and then the other classes are held at the Bamboo Place Cultural Center on Division on Wednesday nights. But most of the Nepali refugee people are coming on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, because some of them work.
Sure.
And yes, it started out with 1 hour, and they raised a hand, asked for 2 hours on Saturday, and then another 2 hours on Sunday. So the instruction is done on Saturday, and then tutoring on Sunday to reinforce what they did on Saturday with the instructors. And they're very studious people, really gung-ho.
That's awesome. So
And-
we're going to have to wrap up in
Yeah,
just a minute.
sure.
But let me just ask you, I'm assuming if people wanted to bring you buckets of money, you would accept that. What else? What other kinds of help could you use?
Well, with these people, like what we did for Christmas,
Yeah.
just the basic necessities at home, towels, cleaning supplies, anything that you think that you need.
Basic household goods.
Basic household goods. Food, they get,
Yeah, they have.
they have food. And,
Okay.
they get
So
food
what website could
assistance.
we put up on the screen for our viewers?
Well, we could do West Michigan Asian American Association.
Okay, we'll find that and put that up
Mm-hmm.
for them. Last word before we conclude. What do you want people, both of you, just a few seconds each, what do you want people to really understand about refugees? Maybe Krishna first.
I think refugees are here for their whole life. You know, they are here to bring the economic. They will work, they will support, and they also understand the other cultures. So I think the other culture people should be involving with this community. So I think that would be beneficial for all of us to know different cultures in
Fantastic.
each other.
Yeah.
Minnie?
Yes, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the differences between refugees and illegal aliens, and I think they need to understand refugees are protected and are here legally.
They have official status.
They have official status, and don't confuse that with those who come in illegally.
Okay, awesome. We're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you both so much for coming and sharing your stories with us. It's really important that this message gets out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us. If you're watching on TV, stay tuned for our following segments on information and humor. If you're watching us on the internet, I hope you will check out our other conversations with the intrepid immigrants who are working to make these United States a more welcoming place.